Hello, YouTube. This is my voice. So a quick update on what's going on. Yes, I became Airbnb Superhost, and the funny thing is, literally right before that, the HOA sent my landlady a letter. She's like, "We saw that you're doing Airbnb. It's not allowed." And my landlady has been extremely gracious and because she is Chinese, her English is not the best. So when she was signing the contract, she didn't realize that, the CCNRs was like, you can't do this. But I did learn so much from October until now. So that's almost like 3 months of being an Airbnb host. And I am grateful that I do have Superhost now. So I have more leverage when I, talk to potential people who would rent to me. And that also made me want to get my real estate license. So I'm studying for it right now. I am probably going to be doing way more videos on real estate, thus completing my transformation into a completely stereotypical Chinese immigrant, which I have no problems with. So you're going to see more real estate stuff. Um, my previous stance was that I don't want to buy a house. It is still kinda I don't want a primary residence, but now I'm looking at, okay, maybe I didn't invest because I was too scared, um, by, what happened in 2006 and all the stuff that happened, but that is that. Now is now. I think it was because I didn't understand the industry, I saw the repercussions of it, but hey, maybe it's time. Maybe it's time to be on the other side of the equation and benefiting from it. So, um they don't allow you to go faster than 2.5 weeks at a time, to go through your real estate classes. So the fastest you can go is 54 days. So I started on December 20th. So that was like a few weeks ago, um, almost a month ago now. And I'm going to be taking my next test. So you have to do 3 classes to get the salesperson's license. So altogether, it's like kind of like 8 weeks. So hopefully by January, before my 32nd birthday, I can take the test and do that. So that's goal, big goal for this quarter. And I put The Successful Immigrant on pause a little bit after my mom passed in 2018. I had a shift, I guess, realignment, because I've always been taught to be hardworking, disciplined, focus on the future. Those are all conservative values, okay? I'm not saying liberals can't be that, but I started thinking, hey, do I really only just want to help immigrants? And I thought that was kind of a limiting way of looking at it because everyone has a group of people that everyone has a matter area of expertise, and I still do very much resonate with this group of people, and the clients I end up getting happen to be that demographic of people. And so I'm thinking of revitalizing the successful immigrant again because otherwise, why throw away a good thing? So just because you're an immigrant doesn't mean you have to hate Trump. Just because you're an immigrant doesn't mean you're not pigeonholed into anything. And most of the people that are in the immigrant circle that I'm in, extremely hardworking. And if you take away just the more relaxed immigration, how you come in, most of them are very family oriented, quite religious, more conservative. Um, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's no law that says you have to be liberal as an immigrant. And so what I'm saying is I guess I'm trying to turn into my mom. Ultimately, still gonna do stand-up comedy. I have a weird relationship with comedy, but it's been 2 years. We're 2 years in. Might as well go the distance. Might as well keep going. As you if you've been following me, you're seeing me still post, funny millionaire interviews. Just because you know, you don't have to bow down to brokenness. You don't have to take a vow of poverty, to be successful in what you want to do. If you're an artist, the best thing you can do is to be wealthy so that you don't have to limit your art So that's always been my philosophy. So you guys will probably see a little bit more real estate videos. Still gonna bring on the funny. In terms of hypergamy, let's talk a little bit about this. I think if you guys haven't seen this, no, I'm telling you. So I'm 31 years old and I'm divorced and I've gone through that cycle. And I realized from, fucking thousands of TikTok videos interacting with people who liked my content, didn't like my content, and being blocked on TikTok because I did statistically speaking, when women get terminally ill, their male partners usually leave. That got me blocked so many different times, and it got me to thinking, like, if it was not true, they wouldn't be so vigilant and trying to block me from it, right? And it was getting kind of weird for me to even deal with these boys. I really do think now that there is a difference between boys versus men, and that is basically boys don't have anyone to they don't need to take care of anyone. Chinese people say dandang, which is the image that I have is like I don't know what it's called. It's you're carrying like a stick and then you have two, heavy things that burden. If somebody knows, please comment on what it is. I think you guys get the image, right? That is what a man is supposed to have. Now, you don't have to carry it. You can continue being a boy, you can continue being Peter Pan. That is your free will. But for me, at this point in my life, having gone through, a biological, I will say just sperm donor who didn't really see the responsibility, and that obviously falls onto my mom. And you live and you learn. You realize what kind of males you procreate with, what kind of males you just leave alone. Sometimes a green card isn't worth it. And then, with my own marriage, it's like, oh, you cannot build a boy into a man. He has to come fully as a man already. The charity that you give to males will not only be unappreciated, but it will be resented. And that also, obviously, ultimately, everything is my fault. Had I developed myself a little bit more, had I had a little bit more options, increased my self esteem a little bit, I would have seen the warning signs and walked away. But good thing God, took care of that for me. He left. I didn't have to worry about it, and now I'm building my life. And through, being in stand-up comedy, dealing with a lot of people who are like, well, you're not gonna make it, blah blah blah, and all these people, and it's like, who raised these things? Like, did these comedians' mothers teach them about what it is to be a man, what it is to be successful? Well, maybe that's why they're in comedy. I don't know. But yeah, it's kind of an exit from the hypergamy. And I still think that it is the best way of going about it. I'm just saying I'm pretty much giving up on dating completely because it's a very passive selection. It's like you can't propose. I mean, you can propose to men, but it's not going to be a good outcome. He's going to turn around and say, oh, well, I didn't want to marry you anyway. You're the one who begged me to do that. Right. So ultimately, it's not something that is going to give me good returns. Um, and, people say, oh, you're over 30, blah, blah, blah. And it's not only because you have less uh, options, I guess, but it's also, I don't want to be in the pool anymore. At least if you're a successful businesswoman, the 3 years that I could have put that into business, I could have been a multimillionaire. So part of me feels like, well, I went through that phase. Thank God I didn't have kids and I moved on, but is it worth it to continue being in that phase? And the answer really at 31 is no. So might as well build my own empire. If it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, at least I have provided for my retirement. I know how to, financially plan for my future. And, if I like doing fixer upper things, the better things to put into houses and not men, which, you know, is just the reality of the world. It's better to just be single than to be in a wrong relationship, and way better than being in a wrong relationship with somebody who's not going to be a competent husband or father. And And to just, continue off of that, now that that pressure is gone from me, I'm just like, "You know what? Just have fun. Have fun, do what you want, account for yourself." Now that you pass a certain threshold and not worrying about, like, basic things, not have to struggle, do something better with your life, you know? I just cut off contact with people who are not at my level because even if their moms can't teach them, or really their dads also, but you know what the dads are doing. Um, just let it go, Stop trying to take on the burden of the world with you. Some men or some boys, you can't change them. After 25, your brain is developed, it's done, you know? So, that is the latest update. I'm also updating this because I'm freaking banned from TikTok for another week because whatever hate speech, probably because I had a fucking Donald Trump figure. I'm just gonna use this time to show this off. All right. So you press a button and he has different phrases. So let's see what he says. We are transferring power from Washington, D.C., and giving it back to you, the people. Amazing. All right. So oh, there is a list of all his all his sayings, but yes, gonna be basically doing more real estate stuff. Follow me on Funny Millionaires on TikTok. Subscribe. Yes, I have been demonetized, not surprised, whatever, but I will periodically update here. And if you have any suggestions, let me know. Continue watching the comedian interviews, and I will see you soon.